Let's get some perspective on all of this. The Russia investigations, the Comey testimony. Democratic Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island is joining us. Senator, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Wolf.
You had a chance to question Comey yesterday. The president is claiming what he calls total and complete vindication. You agree with the president?
No, not at all. I think Director Comey made a strong impression. As you noted, he did so under oath. The president, I think, if he's willing to insist upon his position, that should also be made under oath, not through an attorney or through tweets. I think Comey was very compelling. I think both my colleagues on both sides of the aisle thought so. He was open. He answered all the questions. So I think, frankly, the burden is now on the president to come forth definitively and say what happened.
Well, there's a few ways he could do it. What you're saying is he should make a statement under oath where at the White House, come up to Capitol Hill and say that Comey was lying as far as the loyalty issue and the Michael Flynn issue was concerned, because that's what his lawyers said yesterday. Well, you want him to raise his hand and take that oath and make that statement?
I think that's ultimately what will happen, because in the course of these investigations, particularly with Special Prosecutor Mueller, since part of this, as was indicated yesterday, goes to the rationale behind the firing of Mr. Comey and the rationale of trying to deflect, if not stop, the investigation of General Flynn, involves in some degree the president. So I would expect at some point, not right away, but at some point that Mr. Mueller would feel he has to depose the president.
So that would be the special counsel deposing the president under oath. We'll see if that actually winds up happening. The other way this could be resolved, the he said versus he said, one is lying, the other is lying, is if there are tapes in the White House of those conversations he had with Comey. First of all, do you know if there are tapes?
I don't know if there are tapes, but there are only three, in my view, logical conclusions. There are tapes, and they confirm what Mr. Comey said. There are no tapes, and so the president is misleading in his statement. Or there are tapes that refute Comey. If that was the case, I think those tapes would be public already.
So you're saying your conclusion is
either there's no tapes or those tapes do not help the president's position.
Because the president in that tweet weeks ago, he raised the possibility of tapes. He put the word tapes in quotes. Right,
and that could be, I think, just simply a misstatement.
Let me play this clip for you. This is Comey during the testimony talking about the president's sort of hope. He used the word hope. I hope you can walk away or leave the investigation to Michael Flynn, his fired national security advisor, alone. Listen to this.
I don't think it's for me to say whether the conversation I had with the president was an effort to obstruct. I took it as a very disturbing thing, very concerning. But that's a conclusion I'm sure the special counsel will work towards to try and understand what the intention was there and whether that's an offense.
First of all, do you know if the special counsel is now investigating the president for obstruction of justice? Because that's the implication of what Comey was saying yesterday.
I have not had the opportunity to talk with the special counsel or his staff. As is indicated by your colleagues, he will meet with Senator Warner and Senator Burr this week and talk about the
chairman and the vice chairman
of the Intelligence Committee. My sense is that this is all part of a very elaborate, intricate situation involving not only what he said to Director Comey, but also there have been public reports, and we've actually questioned Director of National Intelligence Coates and Admiral Rogers of the NSA about reports that he, in fact, asked them to take steps that would either publicly exonerate him or in some way influence the FBI. So all these incidents are suggesting not just one incident with Comey, but a pattern of behavior which goes to the president's possible abuse of power by trying to stop a legitimate investigation.
And you know that the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, will testify before the Senate next week on budget-related issues, but you know there are going to be a lot of questions on all of this.
It's very loose budget-related issues.
Very loose budget-related issues, but the senators can ask whatever they want. I know you were I assume you went to that closed-door meeting after the open session yesterday.
I was there for part of it.
Because you saw the report, CNN reporting, that Comey suggested, well, there may have been a third undisclosed meeting with the Russian ambassador that Sessions had. They're still trying to figure that out. What can you tell us about that?
It's not appropriate to comment on anything that took place in that closed-door session. I grew up in the Army. You don't talk
So
about
you don't want to talk about,
No, sir.
but I don't know if that's classified, but it was closed door.
It was closed door.
Yeah, but it was definitely closed door. I don't know if it was classified. Without telling us any classified information, was there a bombshell that you learned during that 1-hour private meeting?
Again, I would prefer not to. I think the best approach is that there was an open session. I thought Director Comey was incredibly candid, responded to every question, responded in a very thoughtful, complete way. And then there were matters that should be considered behind closed doors, regardless of whether they're classified or technically not classified. I think going in that direction is not the appropriate way.
Someone is lying here, right?
Someone is not accurate.
You're very diplomatic.
Thank you.
Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, thanks very much for joining us.